Hey all, this is Katerina, staff site reliability engineer in Mesmo, and I'm here in PlatformCon to discuss with you about the future of observability platforms. I'm obsessed with observability, Mesmo is too, and we want to talk to you about the shift from reactive tooling that we have today to the intelligent observability systems of the future. So during this 15-minute journey, we'll talk briefly about observability today, how we do things, what we use, but also what's the hidden cost of all this. Then we'll analyze the shifts that are happening in the tech world right now, and we'll start painting the new vision. As a last part, our call to action, we'll discuss how we will build for this future, how we, as platform engineers, will be ready for it. So let's start with a very familiar scenario to many of you. It's 2 a.m. You're sleeping, most probably. An alert fires. You get a page. Dashboards light up like a Christmas tree. And you're getting out of bed, maybe grabbing a cup of coffee, or maybe just checking on your phone. You're jumping between tools, checking logs, logging to some other tool, looking at metrics, then maybe looking at traces, other data, observability data. But still, a few minutes have passed already, and you're still guessing. Trying to figure out what has broken, where, why now, what's the blast radius? Do we call an incident? What severity? What's up in general? Is it actually, as one of our customers mentioned, is it a cup of coffee problem or is it a pot of coffee problem? Do you have to wake up somebody from your team? Do you have to escalate? Minutes have passed from the incident, maybe 10 minutes, but still, you're still guessing. That's not really observability, that's triage, and it's exhausting. Our tooling has promised insights, but instead it's delivering overwhelm to the engineers. I am a site reliability engineer. I've been one for many years. I have been there. Many of us have been. Whoever has carried a pager has been there. So we at Mesmo, we're really familiar with this scenario, and it's very common, it's very tiring, it's very exhausting. Being woken up, or even if it's not 2 a.m., still looking at different tools, logging in different tools, each one has their own views, a different user experience, and making manual correlations trying to figure out what's wrong. Today, observability tooling is fragmented. There are multiple tools, and each of them does one thing well. Logs over here, metrics over there, tracing elsewhere. And then what about APM? What about RUM? Somewhere else. And of course, you have to log into all these tools, and each tool you have to query it. Oh, and yes, of course, it has a different query language, a different syntax, a different user experience. All of this, the user, the engineer, the person on call, they have to correlate them in their mind. The tool fatigue is real, and it's pretty hard to onboard new engineers in this process. It's pretty hard to get them to learn how to use all these tools and also how to correlate based on your own unique infrastructure, your own unique product, your own unique setup. And let's of course not forget that there's a tsunami of telemetry. All these logs, all these metrics, all these traces, all this data is getting ingested, and we are paying for every byte of raw data that is being ingested to these different tools just in order to have them available to correlate it manually in a war room. Maybe at 2 a.m. But this is data. This is not context. These two terms are Very, very different, significantly different. Today's tools are powerful, and there are many good tools. Many good tools for logging, many good tools for metrics, many good tools for traces, other good tools for APM. But they are often separate. They operate separately in silos. Each one just with their own ingested data. We do generate expensive telemetry. All modern infrastructure does that. And all these data, all these tools, using all of these requires too much human effort to correlate and make sense of. But this is not just a tooling issue. This is a cognitive overload issue. But also it's about exploding cloud bills from high cardinality data that you do need, especially in an incident case. You do need to have all this data. You don't always manage to get the context with just sampling data, for example. You need the full thing. So at Mesmo, we've seen how these challenges hit teams hard, especially as the telemetry volumes explode. We are familiar with this. We've been in this industry for a while. We know logs and we know data pipelines. So we're very familiar with that and we have been feeling that pain. But we're not stuck here. We are in 2025. If you look around in the tech scene, if you look around, there are so many major shifts happening that change the game. First of all, AI, machine learning. This is big. This is everywhere, from like very small everyday tasks to the most complex use cases. Large language models reduce toil and can surface patterns faster. Also, open telemetry, open standards, vendor-neutral pipelines. More and more products are adopting open telemetry. And then platform engineering. We are in platform.com. So platform engineering is rising. There are internal platforms that demand self-service observability. You need to have it all together for the user experience, for the developer experience. And then again, all of this ties in the general cost pressure that exists in this scene. We are forced to make smarter data decisions. We can't anymore afford to ingest everything, everywhere, all at once. So these aren't trends. This is not a firework that will just fade away. We will not wake up in 2 years and not have AI. These are inevitabilities. All this is happening. The question is where we are. So what's the future? The future is not more dashboards. No matter what. It's not more tools producing more beautiful dashboards. If you close your eyes and imagine like the ideal future for observability, that would definitely mean fewer decisions. Just picture a unified observability plane that is context aware. It offers telemetry that is actually having some context, some insights. The isolated metrics do not tell the full story. Real insight comes from actually connecting traces to deployments, to releases, to logs, to infra changes, and even the feature flags. Everything in context. Then this unified observability plane needs AI that understands intent. Imagine your observability being your co-pilot, helping you optimize, prioritize, contextualize, and even predict issues before they actually impact users, turning proactive instead of reactive. And then LLMs, they are enabling new experiences. They allow you to summarize logs, to suggest root causes, or even to let engineers query telemetry in plain English. No need for like Googling how does this syntax work for this querying language? How to get this in this tool? Not wasting any more time. Observability that's not just usable, but it's useful. Today we design observability for the data, but tomorrow we design it for the engineer, for humans. We need smart alert actions and suppression. We need less noise, less 2 AM pages. We need our observability platforms to actually make decisions and act on them. We need platform native observability, observability that's baked in our platforms, our developer experience, embedding the best practices and automating what used to be manual and error prone. Observability by default. So the best observability platforms in 2026, in 2027, in 2030, they won't be tools, they'll be intelligent systems built for workflows, not dashboards. So when you imagine observability in the future, ask these questions. What if context came automatically? What if deploys, flags, logs, and infra changes were already linked? What if your platform knew the blast radius before you did? Wouldn't that be great? At Mesmo, we strongly believe in this future, and we are exploring how to turn volumes of telemetry into actually signals that make sense. Not have more data, but smarter data. We want to be a key player into what this shift means for observability. With an AI forward approach, we can also help optimize pipelines so you ingest what does matter. You reduce storage costs and still get the signals you need and have full control of your data in the case of an incident. Think enrichment, think routing, optimization, at ingestion. Think insight as your product. If you're building a platform these days, we believe that you need to think about all these aspects and think about building differently. Here's where to start, for example. Treat observability as a product, not a plugin. Focus on context, not just collection. Embrace open standards like OpenTelemetry and push your vendors to do that and support insight-first design. You don't need to wait for magic. Just start small. Unify data, embrace open standards, and build observability into your platform core, into your platform DNA. The future is not a prettier dashboard. It's a system that thinks with you. And let me leave you with this. What if observability is not something you used, but something your system did for you? That's not fantasy. That's the direction we are heading, and we get to build it. Platform teams are uniquely positioned to lead this evolution today. Thank you.